it's Kara here, and I am back to do another recipe. I would call this cooking with Kara, but let's be honest, half the time I just throw some shit in a bowl, mix it together, and call it a recipe. So that's what we're gonna do today, nice and simple. I'm gonna show you how to make some no-bake chocolate protein bars. Let's get started. What you're gonna need are some quick oats. You are gonna need some MTS Whey chocolate protein. You're gonna want some type of sweetener. Lately I've been using Splenda. Use whatever you guys have on hand. You're gonna need to use some Hershey's or whatever you prefer, baking cocoa, unsweetened. We're gonna use a little bit of cinnamon. For wet ingredients, we're gonna use some unsweetened applesauce. If you don't have applesauce on hand, you could always use pumpkin as well as an alternate. I'm gonna use some unsweetened almond milk. And lastly, we're gonna use some peanut butter. I put it away, but just Smart Balance regular peanut butter. Again, use whatever peanut butter, almond butter you guys have on hand. So these are no bake, so all we're gonna do is get started, throw everything in a bowl and mix it together. So we are gonna start with 3 scoops of our MTS Whey chocolate. If you guys have no bake on hand at home, that would be a great one to add to this to use instead of the chocolate. All right, 3 scoops of that. We're gonna do 1.5 cups of oats. Those in there. We're gonna mix all our dry ingredients first and then add the wet ingredients after. Just gonna make it a little bit easier to mix everything together. Okay. For the cocoa, I'm gonna add 3 full tablespoons. I always like using, they have the extra dark chocolate baking cocoa. You could use that as well. My husband doesn't like it as much, so I don't use it as much. So 3 tablespoons of that. We're gonna add just a couple dashes of cinnamon in there. Cinnamon's always a nice flavor to add to any of your baking recipes. All right, and let's stir this up quick, and then we're gonna add our wet ingredients. This is a very simple way to make some protein bars, you guys. You can whip these up very quickly. What we're gonna do afterwards is throw them in the freezer, and they'll be ready in an hour. So this is a very simple way to do a protein bar that you can cut up and have ready for the week. Okay, so for our applesauce, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of that. And a lot of times applesauce or like pumpkin ice that is used in recipes. It's a great way to, take a look at some of your favorite baked good recipes. You can always sub in applesauce or pumpkin instead of the fat source. So if there's butter or oil, it's a great way to reduce the fat in a recipe, and it really helps add the moisture. And a lot of times you wouldn't even know it was like a very low fat recipe. So it's a very easy way to, make your recipes a little more healthy. So for the almond milk, we're gonna add 1/3 cup. Okay. And last but not least, I've got 5 tablespoons of peanut butter measured out in here. I did heat it up for about 30 to 45 seconds in the microwave just to make it smooth and a little bit easier to mix up into our recipe. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and mix this all up, mix it all together. And we're gonna add the Splenda last because what you should probably do is kind of give it a taste and just add your sweetener a little bit at a time to see how much you wanna add. All right, so I've got this all mixed up, and what I want to tell you guys too, depending on what type of protein you use, it may alter how much liquid you need to add to this recipe. So if it seems like it's too hard to mix, you could add a little bit more almond milk, but be careful, you don't want to get it too watery. You want a nice thick, sticky kind of batter like that. So I've got that mixed up. It took a little taste, and what I think I'm going to do is add about a tablespoon or 2 of my Splenda to it. And we're gonna mix that up. All right, so I've got my batter all mixed up. What you guys are gonna need is some type of pan. I used an 8x8 pan. and just line it with some wax parchment paper. That'll just make it much easier for you to be able to cut your protein bars and take them out of the pan. It is a sticky batter, and all we're doing is freezing it, so that'll make your lives much easier. So we're just gonna go ahead and you gotta use your muscle a little bit on this recipe. Get this batter. All right, so I'm just gonna use a spatula to put that in the sink. Push it all down and form it into your pan. So the batter's a little sticky, so it's gonna take a few minutes, but you just wanna make sure you spread it out evenly within your pan. So I've got my protein bars all spread out nice and even in my pan so that I can cut them into 12 even bars. Here's the fun part. You can add whatever toppings you want. Sky's the limit. You can get very creative with these. What I'm going to do today is add on top some shredded coconut, unsweetened. So I'm going to add, let's see how a tablespoon looks on top. Kind of sprinkle that on top. Yeah, I think 1 tablespoon will be plenty. There we go. 1 tablespoon of that. And then what I did is I heated up another 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, and I am just gonna drizzle that on top. You wouldn't even have to use 2 tablespoons. I just did probably about a tablespoon, if that there, and just adds a nice other flavor on top. Looks good to me. Oh my goodness. They are that simple, you guys. Look how beautiful those look. I'm gonna put those in the freezer for about an hour. You wanna let them chill just to form together and for all the flavors to come together. After that, you could keep them in the freezer if that's easier for you, and just take them out one at a time, like 20 to 30 minutes. They should be good to go if you wanna keep them in the freezer, or you can keep them in the fridge. So this is a very quick, easy, no-bake protein bar that you guys can make for the week. Very versatile. I hope you check it out and like it. The nutritionals that I'm gonna give you guys are not gonna include the toppings so that you can play around with them for how you like in your macros. So I hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to use my link. Go to Tiger Fitness, get all your protein needs there. Use my discount code as well, Kara, for 5% off. And please like this video. Head over to my channel and subscribe if you don't already. Show me some love, and I'll see you guys soon.